Hello, my name is Leanne Labriola, and I'm a retina and uveitis specialist, and I'm founder of Visionaire products. And it's my pleasure to introduce you to the OcuTap, which will be the first FDA-cleared device for anterior chamber paracentesis. In this presentation, I'll talk about its use prior to FDA approval. So why should we care about anterior chamber paracentesis, also called AC taps? Well, if you are a pharmaceutical company, you may be aware of a study that showed a 5-fold increase in drug approval rates when molecular biomarkers were used in clinical trials. And although ophthalmology trials have been quite successful, there have been some notable failures. In 2016 and 2017, 2 large phase 3 trials did not meet their endpoints, even after significant funds were invested. Molecular biomarkers can offer several advantages, from target validation to characterization of disease subclass, all of which can decrease the risk of trial failures by 10%. The value of this is being noted by pharmaceutical companies as use of molecular biomarkers in clinical trials has increased over the last decade, up from 21% in 2014 to 38% in 2025. Using an AC tap can give you access to aqueous fluid for molecular biomarkers in ophthalmology trials. If you are a physician, you might already be using AC taps in your practice. And if you are not, incorporating this simple procedure can help improve the quality of care you offer your patients. Consider that 40% of uveitis patients have undiagnosed and untreated ocular infection. Doing an AC tap to obtain that diagnosis and start the right therapy can save vision and perhaps decrease the 10% of legal blindness we see in uveitis. AC taps also align with the future of ophthalmology, as ocular liquid biopsies are becoming critical to the diagnosis and management of ocular lymphoma and melanoma. So why aren't we doing these procedures more often? Well, we put out a survey, and we had responses from close to 100 ophthalmologists that spanned over 3 different continents, and they echoed problems with the standard of care that we're familiar with. This included the 2-handed cumbersome approach using a 1 cc syringe, at times requiring an assistant to pull back the plunger, the loss of fluid with lab transfers that decrease the amount of labs that accept these fluids, and the concern for ocular injury to adjacent tissue. Our device, the OcuTap, was designed from a clinician perspective to address each of these unmet needs. The device can be operated by first pulling back the collection chamber. This creates a negative pressure inside the device. A 32-gauge 4mm needle can be attached, which is a shorter and smaller gauge needle than the standard of care. The shorter needle decreases the risk of injury to ocular tissue when the needle is inside the eye. Depressing the button can initiate the fluid flow, which is steady and streamlined, and decreases the fluid fluctuation that you see with the standard of care. When the procedure is over, the button can be released, the device can be removed from the eye, and that shorter gauge needle decreases the risk of fluid leak and need for postoperative antibiotics. One final push of the button clears the remaining fluid from the device into the collection chamber, which can be detached and secured with a lid. This meets the specifications of lab directors. 9 out of 10 ophthalmologists interviewed in formal usability studies preferred our device over the standard of care, citing improvement in ergonomics, efficiency, and that decreased need for fluid transfer. Our device would be single use, and there is a CPT code already for AC taps. At $137, it reimburses. We price our device at $75 to maintain those healthy profit margins for physicians. We have an interested distribution partner with Keeler, and we already have over 8,000 unit orders for our device to be filled when FDA cleared in 2026. Because of this, we expect a high penetration of our serviceable market in the conditions that we mentioned for ocular fluid biopsy and for clinical trials. But we believe that the OcuTap can be much more than this. In our survey, we also asked physicians for their interest in doing an AC tap to obtain molecular biomarkers in order to select treatments and have for common retina conditions. 75% of those responders and 100% who were retina specialists within 15 to 25 years of practice said they would be interested in using AC taps for this type of personalized medicine. Consider that when you listen to the presentations today that talk about the therapeutic options beyond just VEGF. And even with diseases like non-exudative AMD that have a high degree of phenotypic diversity or polygenic and may need molecular biomarkers to help choose therapy to have better vision outcomes. That just might make the OcuTap the most important device in your exam lane. To align with this future vision, our company is not just developing the OcuTap, but we also have 2 point-of-care diagnostic devices for aqueous humor that can be used bedside and provide an immediate answer. Outside of ophthalmology, we are also moving into veterinary medicine, and we have a pilot study going on at 8 different animal hospitals to look at our device for phlebotomy and cystocentesis. We have a small team, but we're experienced, and we moved from the proof of concept to the prototype just with grant funding. We're right now in validation and verification to make the OcuTap the most reliable device for AC taps. If you're interested in learning more or even ordering a device, you can do so on our website. And I appreciate the opportunity to present this innovation. Thank you.